Good afternoon, Father. I have a loved one that suffers from drug addiction. How can family members help the recovering addict not to fall into despair? How can this suffering be offered up? Thank you, a very concerned grandmother there.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, of course, is, there are some groups, and I happen to be an advocate of 12-step programs, and so I'm going to mention that there are 12-step programs like Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's also specific ones for those who are drug addicted. And the reason I'm talking about them is because they do give a lot of support, and you can actually get daily support in those groups to hang in there. And there are many of those groups are explicitly prayerful, explicitly religious, explicitly allowing God into the process. But I would say the first thing I would do is make sure they are enrolled in that 12-step program. The second thing that I would say is, there are some very fine ways of dealing with drug addiction that are you want to keep aware of right now that are just coming out. There are some, right now there is a pellet being developed that can be inserted into the abdomen that can give a 1-year break from the cravings of opiate addiction, for example. Now this is, I'm not sure whether insurance is covering these things or not yet, but I mean, these are real important things to know about, because if you can get a release from the cravings of, let's say, opiate addiction, it's like a wave is just going to pass over you, over your, your whole mind, your brain, and you're going to feel a real freedom from those cravings that they don't control you anymore. So you want to pursue some of these options, but that pellet, I know I'm going to get the name wrong here. I think it's nadexadrine or something is the chemical in that pellet. I'm off by a little bit on that, but I can give that to you on an email if you want it. The main thing though is seek those medical solutions that are going to give the advantage to your relative or your son or your friend, your family member there, and along with the group, and especially a faith-filled group. Then the third thing of the family support really can be meaningful. The main way though is, I think, is to be supportive of that person, and even if they have some failings, and even multiple failings, to get them back onto a physical protocol. I think it's like nadexadrine or something of that nature, to get them onto that protocol, to get them back into a group again, to forgive them and to get them going, to support them, because eventually I really believe with those three factors in place, especially the family support and prayer and your own individual prayer that they may not even know about, where you offer your sufferings up for that poor person. Then, with all that being said, if they have faith and they're going through this drug addiction, they would be crazy not to offer this suffering up for, some good for themselves, some good for the world, some good for the kingdom of God. Because, boy, drug addiction's a real terrific kind of challenge and suffering and cross. And absolutely the Lord would take that and use those things. But those would be the ways I would try. But as a family member, you have to support all three. Wow. A solution like a pellet, a spiritual 12-step solution, and then the family support a solution.
Right. There's nothing wrong with using
offering it up.
There's nothing wrong with using modern science and the things we've learned today to help someone overcome suffering.
That's right.